All right, guys, we going live right now. I got my guys in here with me, Smoke Dixon, Brandon Clay. Now look, are y'all done traveling the country yet? Before we even get into this, like y'all been on the road. Every time I talk to Smoke, he down in Tuscaloosa. Be low key. Smoke is working as a recruiter for Bama, low key.
I'm not surprised in the
Low
least by
key.
that.
When it all, he's the Connor Stallions.
Oh wow.
Mm,
Oh, wow.
Smoke,
mm.
We're
smoke.
not even 30 seconds in. You already took it too far.
Smoke,
Welcome home, everybody. Welcome
smoke
home,
the
yo.
Connor Stallions,
I thought you was about to say I was working for Maryland since they beating up that recruiting um, world up right now. They beating up the streets.
Maryland, them your two schools, man. They
That's
going. Listen,
hilarious.
Maryland and Bama, your two schools. He's got the Alabama helmet behind him. I'm sure he's got Maryland underwear on.
Nah, you see the Duke Mayo bowl
This
of
is
mayonnaise
funny,
over there,
man.
over that
Yeah,
left shoulder.
yeah.
Don't
Hey,
So
open
look,
that jar lid, boy.
nah, I don't do mayonnaise. I don't do mayonnaise. But Reed, you just go ahead and just say it. Whatever I touch is platinum. So keep on pushing.
Ooh. Hey, that boy certified, man. Yeah, but hey, Reed, I'm home. I've been all over the world, but I'm back. I'm at Pocket. You name it. I got one more trip to Brooklyn. Literally, it's a day trip on Friday for the Under Armour Elite 24 scrimmages. I like to watch the game at home on TV, honestly. They just run around. It's the all-star game, dog. But the scrimmages are always really good. They're really competitive. They actually do some stuff with their coaching boards out. So I'll fly up there, literally be up there for about 3 hours on Friday afternoon and get right back on the plane and come on home.
I ain't been to Brooklyn since I was up there with Apache.
Oh man.
Mm.
Hey, speaking of Apache, I got to shout out my guy, his cousin Thomas Davis, who's done a great job with the Exodus NYC UIBL program. Rest Apache soul. I talk to Thomas 2 or 3 times a week on the phone, and he really has done a fantastic job. Apache would be proud. A lot of times people say that, and they don't really know if someone will be proud. In this case, I feel comfortable enough knowing that both of them, Apache will be proud. Big shout out to Thomas and everybody with Exodus.
Word Apache, love is love. I got long. We miss him. He was one of the great pioneers of the women's game. And he
Absolutely.
laid the foundation for a lot of great kids. When you think about Kia Vaughn, Epiphany Prince, he had a special thing going.
Reed, what is Smoke doing, man? What is he drinking? He got his juice box again. He
I'm
got his
hydrated,
juice
baby.
box.
I'm
Out
hydrated,
the
baby.
same smoke drinks out the same juice boxes that I get for CR3.
Hydration. That's why I see all trees murdering the world right now in that baseball front.
Hey, listen, the same exact juice boxes that I go to the store and get for CR3. Smoke drinks out the same one.
I love
Daddy,
Uncrustables, Lunchables. He on all that stuff too. I know what it is, man.
It's crazy, bro. It's absolutely crazy. So, B, you've been on the road all July on the women's side. Kind of what's been going on in women's basketball out there?
Yo,
It's a big thing now.
okay, I know Smoke want to talk a segue to the Olympics. So let me start at the grassroots level. I think a lot of the names that we talked about in the earlier part of the summer, the latter part of the spring, really jumped out. Obviously we talked about Sanaya Hall out of Ohio, who's been fantastic. Aaliyah Chavez does what she does, right? The biggest stock riser of the summer so far is Kate Harper. It's not close. What she's doing, I haven't seen. I've been in this game 23 summers, Reed. Like, I don't want to take it too far and say Tracy McGrady because she didn't come from nowhere. You know what I mean? But relative to the women's side, where there aren't very many people that ascend up ladders quickly, she's really done that. She's known for being a kid that publications didn't even have in their top 25 in the spring, to being a kid that I think when everybody re-ranks, you're thinking top 5. The other night at Overtime Select, yo, listen, hear me, y'all, both of y'all. If y'all have not had a chance to visit the Overtime Elite Arena, it is unbelievable. If you ever come to Atlanta, it's right off 16th Street. Let me know. I'm going to call my boy Matt the mayor. We're going to get in there. Shay Dawson, Sasha, the whole group over there. Whitney Bell, I don't want to leave anybody out. That's how good of a job they do. I got to get over there. Smoke, you're a connoisseur of all things, dog. You would love this building. They got practice floors, they got training floors, they got arena screens. It feels like State Farm Arena for high school kids. It's just really impressive. And so they've got a league now for the young ladies called Overtime Select. And it's Zakiya Johnson, top 5 level in top for 2025. D. Alexander going to Cincinnati, top 10 at 25. Olivia Vukosa, top 5 at 26. Full of stars. Chavez was there playing, full of stars. Gigi Banks. Harper goes for 22 the first night, 18 the second night. Like, it just, what she's done is unprecedented in my run in 23. The ascent of the climb, not maybe the climb itself, but the speed of the trajectory, it's unreal. So it's been cool. It's been a good summer just to see all those different kids play. Reed, I've been in Indianapolis, Cincinnati, Chicago, Rock Hill, South Carolina, Philadelphia, and then in Atlanta, all in about 21 days. So we've been on the run. Big shout out to everybody who showed me love, the hospitality, and the 24/7 sports where you can find most of the coverage.
Now, you've been talking about harping for a long time, like from the first time you had on your program, and it looks like she's potentially could be the number 1 player in the country in that class, potentially. What is it that, her dad is a former NBA player. What is it that sets her apart from her peers?
It's just her ability to rise to the occasion, right? The light is never too bright. Smoke, playing at the great institution that you played at, you can understand that, man. 100,000 packed in every Saturday. That light is bright, man. And I think for Harp, it's whether it's Rock Hill, NCAA Academy, there were 80 college coaches, Reed, 80 if there was one, watching a pickup basketball game. It was a pickup game organized by the NCAA, basically. It wasn't a club team. She wasn't playing with Southeast All-Stars. She was playing in a pickup basketball game, and there were 80 college coaches sitting there, and she had 30. Like, it just doesn't matter what situation you put her in. She just my favorite Jay-Z line is, I'm going to get the proceedings proceeding this evening. And I feel like every time Kate plays, she gets the proceedings proceeding, man.
Brooklyn.
Hey, beat Kate to the full. Hey,
Brooklyn.
I could have, hold up, what did he say? I could have bought a building in Dumbo before it was Dumbo. Guess how I'm feeling? Dumbo.
Now, B.
Talk to me.
I just got off the phone this weekend with my homeboy, Carlos Andrews.
Okay.
All right. Long friend and my niece, Kelsey Andrews, they say you just don't like her and you won't give her no love.
Oh, she looks good.
So I said,
she look good. I love this. I'm with it. Talk to me.
I said she just came off the ACL.
Yeah.
They just won it all. And that's under 16 or 17.
Oh, yeah, it was the sophomore, 16 and under. Yeah, absolutely.
16 and under.
Absolutely.
And she was out there, big body, and them young girls out there.
Yeah. No,
that knee looks good. They just said, B don't really rock with us that way, maybe because you're affiliated with him, Smoke. I said, I don't know.
I'm taking it out on you, brother. No, I think, what's great? I love this stuff, man. Reed know me well. I think, and the tough thing, I think from a kid psyche perspective, right? Coming off of a second knee, I mean, it's first of all, that's just tough. But to see the progress that she's making, she looks good. Knock on wood. It reminds me of Harry Giles, right? Harry Giles might not have had the same explosion after knee number 2, but he was still a really good basketball player, right? He was still really good at Duke. Was he Jason Tatum level anymore? Maybe not, but Jason had 2 healthy knees and Harry didn't. And there's nothing any of us can do about that. But when I tell you a kid that has recovered in a way that you hope kids can recover for something that's that traumatic and drastic, she has been awesome. So the same way I wanted to show Thomas Davis love, I want to show the Andrews family love, a lot of respect from Brandon Clay. And she's doing exactly what she needs to do. She's one of the best post players in the country in the class, period, the end.
She get that hooping from her mom. Her mom's a beast. It ain't daddy.
I'm sure he'll agree with you. He won't even be insulted by that, man.
Man, listen, I've been trying for years, Smoke, to sway the rankings with B. I'm like, nobody will notice if you move this kid up. This kid from St. Louis is special. Put him in the top 15 for me. He won't do it, bro. And this is my dude. I'm talking about 20 plus in the game. I can never sway the rankings with him.
Well, it's because the man has integrity. And he's not going to be swayed by his partner just calling him, because he knows when he says something, his name means something. And his evaluation stands firm. And when the evaluation stands firm and someone sees it, they gotta recognize it. And I'm just messing with you. Carlos and I were just talking. I said I jump on Mondays with my man B.
That's awesome.
No,
now they know it's all respect from this side, man. And I think, one thing, and this is a global statement that both of y'all appreciate, the ability to be top 5 at your position. I'm going to be wrong sometimes. As humble as I can say that, right? Sometimes I put a kid as the number 4 point guard, and they end up being the best point guard in the class. Every now and then you have a chance to hit on something like a Harper where you beat everybody to the punch. You see it first. You go out there, you stand on business, and that kid delivers. But those are few and far between, right? You get 1 or 2 of those a class. Chloe Kitts was one of those for me, where I kind of jumped out in front of everybody. Hey, this is a big-time top 5 kid, and this shares a double-double in the national championship game. But most of the time, man, my job is to aggregate group. And it's funny, I actually talked with, Trey Scott from 24/7 Sports with that earlier today, making sure CBS, hey, man, look, my job is to get them in a grouping. I can't haggle too much over who's 3, who's 4, who's 11. I'm wasting my time because I don't get to be on the floor with them anyway. But, it's a good class. So that 26 class is a real one. I'm excited to sit and try to put some numbers to them. We'll probably release that in mid-September, man, so everybody can wait patiently for that.
B, you got to look at it like this. And I always say this. In the evaluation business, you're going to have some misses. That's a part of it. But what you can't have is whiffs. Whiffs is completely missing the backboard. The ball's going out of bounds over top of everything. Everyone misses jump shots. You just can't whiff on a jump shot. You can't throw that thing over the backboard. Now you can't shoot it off.
I'm coming back to the whiff because I know where he's going with that. I do want to give a special shout out real quick before we get into the whiffs. Because Smoke, I'm coming back. I'm literally going to say my piece, Smoke. I'm coming right back to you with the live.
Biceps poking out right now.
It's time. Okay.
Standing firm. Talk to me about.
So my guy, Chad Bablewood, made hoops. Army National Guard camp. They did a really good job. There were 5 guys who I think could potentially be All-Americans at 26, 27. Rippy, the point guard, smooth. They got him high. There's a kid out of the Dallas, Texas area that can really, really hoop named Davion Atkins in 26. Plenty of talent. When I tell you that kid's head's at the rim, flying, right? He can really get it done. On the girls' side, Harper was there, Jordan Palmer, Jesse Moses from Westtown, Ryan Carter, Ashley McCullough, both of whom played for Thomas Davis for Exodus NYC. The sleeper I thought of that group was a kid named Laney Smallwood out of Alabama in the 26th class. Just picked up offers yesterday from Murray State, today from UT Martin, but that's a kid I think that could sneak into the end of the 100, potentially a P5 kid or P4 kid now, excuse me. But really like what Chad Babel did with that Army National Guard for supporting the women's side as well as the men's side. But let's get to business. Let's talk about the Olympic basketball team, Smoke. I'm throwing the live back. Let's go, Smoke. Let's go, Smoke.
Why you get them started, bro?
Let's go, Smoke. I've been waiting for weeks on this. Hey, and Smoke, I can't lie. I haven't watched 1 minute of Olympic basketball, Smoke. Not one. Go ahead, man.
Not a second. And before we got on, Cole and I talk about maybe 5 to 10 times a day. I know his wife thinks it's something crazy, but we rap it all. Right? My wife thinks the same thing. Not one time while we're on the phone and say, Smoke, you know what? The women's team is on right now. I got to go check them out. And he just revealed to me before we got on, he's done the same thing that I have. I haven't watched a second. You know why? Because the greatest player right now, that's the best person that's drawn the most people to watch TV, women's basketball is not playing.
See, this is what you do. This the lie you just told.
Go ahead, talk to me.
You just said the greatest player, and you lying to the audience. And this is the problem.
He called himself.
You quoted the Jay-Z line earlier. And you said you love Jay-Z for saying it. I hate Jay-Z for telling y'all that numbers don't lie. Right?
Well, you just tell me how much of that women's basketball team have you watched? You seen Diana Taurasi, you seen Asia Will, you seen all of them drop buckets, right?
Reed ain't watched a minute. He ain't watched a minute, man. He lying to you. He lying to you.
He won't even say it because he knows it's a lie.
He hadn't seen a minute.
What's the viewership numbers look like? What's the ratings look like?
Aren't they undefeated? Are they winning every game?
No one ever said anything about them losing the game by 50.
They were always going to win.
They always going to win.
They were always going to
win. Who's watching them? Who has the new shoes coming out? What's the new commercial? Who wants to watch it? Like I said, that's a whiff.
Hey,
You had an
Smoke.
opportunity. Whiff.
Before we talk about Don Staley's comments, because I thought this was great, I'm going to throw it to you, Reed, for this so you can get us started. We're watching Simone Biles. We're watching Katie Ledecky. And we're watching LeBron and company. That's what we're watching. We're not watching the men's 3-on-3 team. Oh, whiff. Now, at least the 3-on-3 women were able to salvage a medal. Notice what I just said. The women's 3-on-3 had to salvage a medal. You have Arige Ogunbowale at home. You have Caitlin Clark at home. You have Angel Reese at home. But we're salvaging medals. Think about all the men's basketball players that we have at home. Jaylen Brown is at home, and we're salvaging a medal.
Now, wait a minute.
Actually, no, hold up. We're not salvaging a medal because they're not going to medal. But Jaylen Brown's at home.
I heard Brian Windhorst on ESPN. He said on the McAfee show that it's not as simple as just putting Kyrie or Jaylen Brown or one of them in 3-on-3. He said the 3-on-3 has some very specific qualifying rules, and guys have to commit to playing in some qualifying tournaments. So I don't think from a 3-on-3 standpoint, it was as simple as just plugging the roster with guys that we have that can really play.
Hey, Reed, the exceptions to your rules. And when you want something done, you got to make an exceptions. Get away from the rules, bro. Rules are for people that have to follow the rules. You tell me how many rules have you followed in your lifetime? Not many. You made exceptions to all of those and made them your only rules. So don't tell me about qualification. Stop it.
Smoke here going crazy.
We listen. If it didn't happen, just own up to it and say, hey, you know what? We thought, and move on. I'm really impressed with Derek. Was it Derek White? That's his name.
Yeah.
I'm impressed that he plays in front of Jason Tatum. That's what I'm impressed.
That's the most subliminal shot that's ever been taken on this show.
You know, and I'm just impressed that he's playing in front of Jason Tatum because I know St. Louis standing up right now.
It was egregious for Jason Tatum to not get a minute in a game that they won by 30 points.
All right. Here's what we're talking about. We're talking about the guy that did not win the MVP on his team, not playing a minute in an elite all-star game event. That's what Olympic team is, right? When you have elite players around other players, you see who the elite ones are and everybody else. Right now, I know that there's 3 people that don't qualify. Rob Pelinka does not qualify to be a GM because the 2 of the best players in the world right now are AD and LeBron James. And if you can't put 10 more people around them and actually win games, and the Denver Nuggets just told you, my man KCP came out and said they should have beat us, and you can't put another group around them to win games, yeah, that's embarrassing. We all can agree that LeBron and AD are top 5 players in the world. LeBron might be 1, AD might be 2 or 3. Anywhere lower than that, we'll have a conversation. And we know that Darvin Ham is not qualified. Right? We know that, right? Just be honest with yourself.
Darvin catching a strap on the way out the door.
Darvin already gone, man. So we ain't,
And then Grant Hill fooling y'all into thinking that Derek White is the reason why that team is still together and they're winning. I guess, man. But I'm impressed that he's playing in front of Tatum. That's the only thing that I'm impressed with. That he's playing in front of.
Smoke, could you have done a better job putting the Olympic basketball team together?
My son could have done a better job. All you do is just look at stats and just say, okay, him. Yep, go. Yeah, it's not hard, bro. When you have the best athletes, just put the best ones in. And put somebody in so this is where everybody says, well, you have to put a defensive stopper in. If you've been around elite players, when they don't have to score 30 points, and you say all you have to do is focus solely on this one aspect of the game and master it, you and I both know they're going to be elite at it. Like when they say, Kobe, just come out and just be a defensive stopper, you don't got to score points, Melo's going to do it? Man, come on. You saw it. If you come out and say, Brian, all you got to be is a facilitator in the last 2 minutes take over, world boss. AD, all I want you to do is play defense and be complimentary. World boss. KD, when you come off, let it rip. Steph, be Steph. You're just asking them to do one aspect of the game. You're not asking them to do multiple things like you would in a basketball season or basketball game in the NBA. We all can agree to that, right? So telling me that the reason why this guy's on the team is because he can play defense, like Jaylen Brown can do that too. He just can't dribble with his left hand for more than 3 dribbles without shooting or laying it up.
You know, man, Smoke, you make it sound you make it sound so simple.
It is.
It is.
It is. It is. Putting an all-star team together, it is. Look what they did with the dream. What they did with the dream team. They put a retired guy together, a guy with his back not working, and they said that's the world's best team. And then they
that
put
was a long time. Smoke. When was the first? Was that like 92?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
How old were you in 92?
12, depending on the month. If it was the summer, I was 11. October 7th, Christmas. I would have turned 12 that year.
So I'm October 27th, right?
Yeah, that's why we get along so well.
Yeah. So
OVO, October of everybody.
Everybody say OVO.
Yeah. So, you know, the thing about it, Smoke, is that it sounds simple.
It is.
Okay, hold on. Let me inject here.
Go ahead.
Smoke, it is simple. It is simple, right? What we do, and Smoke can attest to this, Reed, so can you. You watch people overthink things every day, right? You watch people overthink rankings and where players are slided. There's film in front of you. You see the film. You see the game. You can see this person is, at the time of which you're making the ranking, this person is more talented than this person. You see the 3-on-3 team. Like, you saw those guys. Jimmer Fredette is the best player on the 3-on-3 team? No. Go get 4 mid-level NBA guys. Go get 4 mid-level NBA guys who want to win a gold medal, who have never played in the Olympics, that make mid-level exception money. They don't make supermax money. They make mid-level exception money. They want to represent the United States in the Olympics. Let those 4 guys. Duncan Robinson is better than the Berry brother that's on the team, or the son, or whoever it is.
Jason Hart. Jason Hart.
Josh Hart.
I'm sorry, Josh.
Yeah, but yeah, like, go find 4 dudes like that who want to be in the Olympics, who are not going to make the senior men's national team, but want to represent the USA. Those guys will play in the qualifier. They'll do whatever they got to do. The same way that we field a team that competes in the World Cup to qualify us, we can find people. You just have to put some thought to it.
Austin Reeves.
Hey, why did Jimmer Fredette have to catch a string?
I rock with Jimmer Fredette, but this is not his fight, man. Hey, Jimmer Fredette was dope. You know what Jimmer Fredette was dope? In 2012 against Kawhi Leonard on the CBS Sports Network, playing in the late games with San Diego State. You know what I'm saying?
Like, come on, Reed. You and I, it's okay. You can admit when things aren't right. You know, I always have to tell them when they're wrong. Just tell them when they're not right.
So listen, who's responsible for the construction of the roster for the men's team?
Which one? The 3-on-3?
The team that you keep talking about Grant Hill.
Oh right? Yeah, I'm done. I'm good on Grant.
What is Grant not doing right? The USA team is undefeated.
No, I'm not saying that's what I'm saying. I'm good on it. I'm not going to argue about one guy being out there.
So how do you argue then with the women's team that they're undefeated? You arguing about one girl?
Because
they need viewership.
Okay. Yes. See, that's not.
I watched LeBron on the plane. LeBron's game. I was flying home from Philadelphia. I'm on the flight. Shout out to Delta for my status. Appreciate you.
Diamond.
Forever. So I'm on the plane. I'm watching the TV. They're showing 2 different events, right? It's not the Peacock broadcast. It's the main NBC broadcast. What are they showing? They're showing Katie Ledecky swim for 15 minutes to be better than everyone else. And they're showing LeBron James when Katie Ledecky's not swimming. Before Katie Ledecky swam, they showed LeBron. After Katie Ledecky finished swimming, they showed LeBron. It's simple.
Reed, you know that, like, Simone Biles and LeBron James, and if Caitlin Clark was there, they wouldn't be able to sit down and have dinner. And because everybody would be surrounding them, because they're the draw. Say whatever you want, and that's all we're saying. You need attention. Like, as much as what Lyles did yesterday, to beat my Jamaican, and I'm very disappointed right now. You know, y'all go ahead and bloat for a few years. We'll let you guys run with that. I'm chest, foot, all that whatever. He won it. But you still didn't get the attention that it was deserved because he's just not a draw. Caitlin Clark is a draw. When she touched down, everything shuts up. She would be also on, like the games would be prime time. Right now, they probably come on like 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm up, you're up, and we still ain't watching it.
Even if she was 3-on-3, NBC would have fought for her, especially 3-on-3, honestly, because she would have played the whole game. NBC would have fought for those games to have been in time slots when they went to pick where slots were. NBC would have fought for USA. I think that's a fair statement. They would have fought for 3-on-3 slots had Caitlin Clark been on the 3-on-3 team. If Caitlin Clark was on the 5-on-5 team, they fight for those slots. As it is, they fight for Lyles. It's always track and field and gymnast anyway. It's singular sports, right? It's always like that. Team sports only get pub when there's a LeBron James, a singular signature type of athlete. And in this case, on the men's team, you got Durant and Steph. You have multiple one-name people.
Right.
You know those people by one name. Bron, Steph, KD. There's multiple people like that. You don't have that on the women's side, right? You go to the casual sports watcher, they don't know Diana Taurasi. And there's not a shot at Taurasi's amazing.
No.
But the casual sports fan, Reed, doesn't know who that is, and that's okay.
Reed, you know who she is. You know who she is.
And we love Diana Taurasi. There's no slander here. I remember taking the MARTA in 2003, to the Final Four to watch UConn play at it wasn't the Georgia Dome. Yes, it was. It was the Georgia Dome. The Omni was already gone. So it was the Georgia Dome. I remember going to watch UConn, like in my city. I had just finished college. I was hype as could be. Taurasi and Sue Bird. I can't wait to see it. I remember that. But most people don't have that memory of Taurasi at this point. They have that memory of Caitlin Clark because it just happened. What a whiff.
But Caitlin Clark didn't win the championship.
It doesn't matter.
What does that have to do with the price of tea in China?
Doesn't matter. People would have tuned in to have seen Caitlin Clark play in the Olympics. Hold on, for a chance to win a championship.
Or just do the same thing that Tatum doing. Hang out.
Oh.
Oh no, bro. Hey, listen, man.
That's tough.
Oh man, is hanging out.
That's tough.
So, hey, y'all been watching Simone Biles? Y'all
Yeah.
That's entertaining, though. They really get to the proceeding for real.
So I made this comment a few years ago to my wife and my daughter, because my daughter at one point was big in gymnastics, and my wife loves Simone Biles, and this is a story of how she came up and how hard she worked and how focused that she is. But Simone Biles, Tiger Woods, LeBron James, Michael Jordan, the elite athletes that's a head and shoulders above everybody, they don't need to have a life. And the second that they get a life, that focus pattern breaks. And they now become like somewhat vulnerable. Once she got engaged to Jonathan Owens, you saw her focus kind of just shift because she was getting to her real life. And I said she's going to always be an elite athlete, but you're not going to see that truly special, spectacular, beat everybody. Now, it wasn't even close. Like when she shows up, everybody's like, I'm fighting for second. When Tiger showed up before he went through his deal, everyone's going for second. When Mike, Bron, and Kobe was like, you know what, we on one. But once they all broke their training pattern, their focus, they became normal human beings. And I think that's what we're seeing of Simone. And she's so great, but I wish she would have just kind of just remained just a singular focused athlete so I can just see one more special run like we had with Michael Phelps.
Well, listen, the most special thing she did is marry St. Louis native Jonathan Owens. You know, great men can come from anywhere in the world, but the best husbands in the world come from St. Louis, Missouri. So,
hey, Reed, where are you from?
I'm from St. Louis.
Where were you born?
I was born in Detroit, Michigan.
3 1/3. Stand up.
I was born in Detroit, Michigan. Yes, I was. I was born in Detroit, Michigan.
So cheer for the Lions.
No, sir.
You, Chris Webber, Southwest. Come on, Pepper Johnson, all y'all.
I was in
Tyrone
I was in kindergarten in St. Louis, Missouri.
Yeah,
This is
It's
awesome.
St. Louis versus everybody. It's St. Louis to the bone.
I hear you.
Speaking of 313, and you mentioned Detroit, Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
What's wrong? What's going on with the Wolverines today, Smoke? What's your take on the Wolverines?
All right. Here's my take with all that happened. Jim Harbaugh, Jesse Minter, and everyone that left, Chris Partridge that went to the NFL, boss move, smart move. The person that's left holding the bag is Coach Moore, because he's the one that's going to have to deal with everything that's going on right now. But with everything going on right now, I thought the NCAA already gave them their punishment.
They did.
They did. So why is there further punishment for the guy that really didn't have, what we said, didn't have anything to do with it, because all he was a lowly assistant coach? And go ahead.
I don't know that if he's going to be. What are they saying? I think they said he might suspend him for a couple of games. You know, the guy that's left. You know, it was the same thing when Pete left, and Lane Kiffin had to deal with, you know, the fallout. I mean, that's been going on. That's been a complaint of the people about the NCAA for a long time. But Sharon did have the ability to go with Harbaugh to Los Angeles and avoid the suspension, and he probably would have got a different job. I think too, it doesn't happen. What's the way I'm looking at this? I think that it doesn't matter as much now in this era, because even if you take scholarships from a team, they can replace those scholarships with NIL money.
Right.
You know, so I don't even know that scholarship, you know, numbers hurt the situation.
And even if they give him he can't recruit and give him a show clause, it doesn't matter, because how important are in-home visits from the head coaches? Is that sealing the deal?
Not anymore.
No, it's a transaction.
Yeah, that used to be a thing.
The head coach going around whenever, say, Saban showed up to a local high school, the whole town is shut down if you're in a little small town. Coach Saban, but now it's like, whatever, man. I'm going to go to the campus. We're going to work out this NIL deal. I'm going to show up, and we're going to show out.
Yeah.
And again, long as they're not taking away the national championship, does it matter? They're not touching the national championship. They won without Connor Stallions being on the sideline. They busted people up. They were the best team last year without their head coach, with Coach Moore, with their players, with their quarterback, their running back, their offensive line, defensive line. They just busted people up. Enough's enough. If you weren't happy with what they did and you said they cheated, take away the game that they used that guy in if you want to. But I know one thing you're not taking away. You ain't taking that away. And like you said all the time, Reed, that's really, truly, that's all that matters.
That's all that matters.
So if the Buckeyes want to be upset, if the Bulldogs want to be upset, if the Crimson Tide want to be upset, yeah, those guys weren't a part of that beat-up game. They just busted you up. Take your lickings and go home.
Hey, speaking for a Georgia fan, we're not upset, man. It's fine. Like, it's cool, bro. Hey, we got 2 of the last 3. I can't. Hey, I don't know that any of us thought we'd get any, so we good, bro. We good with all those 2. We good.
With your Georgia guys, y'all, can y'all still fill out a roster? A lot of them dudes getting ran off. Huh?
Hey, we good. Don't worry about it. You only run people off when you got the depth behind them, or should I say in front of them, man. You never run off the stars, man.
Them Florida State fans have been attacking me on social media because I stuck up for Kirby Smart last week. They have been, listen, how quick they forget that 2 years ago I picked them to win 10 games when everybody was talking about Norvell was going to be fired.
You did.
And I said they were going to run through the ACC and make the playoffs. Now, it's not my fault they didn't make the playoffs. I wasn't a voter. Right. But at the end of the day, they on my bumper now because they want me to attack Georgia, you know, with the arrest and whatnot. So it's a crazy situation in my DMs right now with Florida State.
Hey, hold on, Reed. Do a fan 4 favors. When you don't do the 5th, how quick they forget, man.
Oh.
Reed, are they on you because what you're saying you're not being honest, or are they just on you because you're showing Kirby support?
They on me because I'm showing Kirby support. You know, at the end of the day, the best players are going to play. You know that. People and outside of heinous crimes, man, you just don't see great players getting kicked off of teams. You don't see it.
It ain't gonna happen. But Reed, I think there's still Florida State fans are still a little bit hurt because, unlike you didn't say the truth about what happened in that game. Both teams had really good players and their best players not playing. Right? We know that. Can we all agree to that?
Absolutely.
Right. So I remember you and I had a conversation with you that night, and I told you, I said, Reed, this is embarrassing. What is it, 50 burger that they gave him? Was it a 60 burger? What's
60, 63
60 burger. So unless you take your walk-ons, or so your third team players out there against their first team, that should never happen on a college football field when there are two competitive schools going at each other. That wasn't even a game. So yes, they should be mad at you, I guess, for showing Kirby support, but they should be mad at their head coach and that team for going out there getting rolled like that. At least you still talk about it. I told you, man, that I don't care how you say you recover from that. I don't know if you can after getting 60 burger. That's tough. Have you ever gotten that, Carl? Have you ever lost by 60 points?
60.
If you got to think about it, you got 40 put on you then.
I got 40. So I'm gonna tell you a true story. I was the head coach at University City High School, and we were playing Parkway Central, and I think this was my first year at U City. They had a kid named Brandon Shepard that went to Oklahoma State and played receiver.
I remember you said.
They had Michael Slater, who played D-line at Iowa, and they had Bonner went to Notre Dame, and they were killing us, bro. Like it was like 44-0, like the top of the second quarter. So I go to my offensive coordinator and I say, "Hey, don't throw the ball again. Don't throw another pass. We're gonna run the ball and get out of here." He was furious, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I said, "Listen, I'm not losing 70-0 and my name go next to the record book." You know what I mean? I was a young coach, so when you talk 60, no.
But there's something that goes with that. When you have a team, regardless of how bad your team is, like you didn't have 3 Division 1A players, did you?
No, not on that team.
All right. So you're supposed to get your head cracked.
Mm-hmm.
That's supposed to happen. But when you have an undefeated team and you're playing against a team that just lost one game, both of you guys feel the same way. Like Georgia felt like they should have played in the college playoff last year because the only team that beat them was Bama, and that's their first loss in 30 games. Correct?
You correct.
Florida State felt like, yes, we should be playing because we're undefeated. Unless our quarterback gets hurt, we're in that conversation. Well, cool. All Kirby did was get his team ready better than you did and got his team ready to play, and they're competitive, and it means a lot to them to walk out there and have that Georgia Bulldog on and to come out with some type of pride and fight. The other team, wow. That was, you just laid down and just took it on a national, like, I don't care, it's a bowl game. You still say, nah, y'all ain't gonna come out here and just bust me up like that. And I take it, and I look at my coach like, well, they didn't want to give us the opportunity to play in this game, so we're just not gonna come out here and be competitive. Screw them. No, in the long run, you're teaching your players not to be competitive when situations get tough, and we all go through it. Whatever it is, tighten up your chin strap, buckle up, tighten, and let's go to work. Not lay down.
Hey, hold on. I got to inject this. Smoke, as a Georgia Bulldog football fan, that's the most eloquent speech I've ever heard an Alabama fan say about Georgia. Kirby Smart had the boys. Well, and he did a great job. So this is what I love, and then I'll let y'all get back to it. That first week, he set the tone. If you're opting out, go ahead and opt out. And I'm cool with it. I understand. If you were going to the draft, Brock Bowers, y'all go get your money. I'm with it. Not only am I with it, but I want y'all on the sideline with us. You are still a part of the roster, but I want to prepare for this game with guys who are going to play in the game. I want all of our reps to be with guys who are going to play in the game. this game matters to our program. And one by one, he met with the guys that potentially could opt out, the Bowers, the Ladd McConkeys. He met with all those guys. A couple of them opted out. Obviously, Bowers didn't play at all. Ladd suited up, ran around a little bit, went and sat down, right? Like, it didn't take long, and most of those guys were done for the night anyway. Right. But per usual Kirby, he set the standard with his action right away.
Yeah, he wasn't one of, he's not a nice coach that leaves you in limbo.
Absolutely.
And again, I was one of those players that I pushed that envelope every single time. And if I knew that you were a sucker coach, that I can get away. No, I'm not calling Coach Norvell a sucker, but if I knew that you were a coach that allowed me to do what I wanted to do when I wanted to do it, yeah, I'm gonna run all over you. And if you gave me the opportunity to come out there and give you a reason why I'm not going to compete at the highest level of competition and not fight for this thing, I don't care if you're a walk-on or a second team or the first overall pick. There's a standard that goes with this. When we go out there, we ready to play, yeah, there's no excuses. We balling. And that Florida State team was way too talented to allow a 60 burger to get put on them. You got to willingly ask for that. That's a warm-up game, bro. I'm telling you, I lost respect after that because that's not football. That's a JV team versus the varsity team. That's the same team that you had out there called a bunch of the rest of y'all's and that other guy with that other in high school had Division 1A starters. It's supposed to happen. But when you have good on good top 5 programs, yeah, I haven't seen that.
Let me ask you this question from this standpoint. Since we on Florida State, I'm gonna start with you on this, Smoke. How did you feel about Keon Coleman in the contract signing video that was on Twitter?
Embarrassing. And the only reason why I say that because I was a part of the Bills front office, and the way that I was always taught was whenever you go into that room before they even went out there for that photo op, you walk them through it. Okay, signature goes here with the pink tab, and whatever green is your signature, and you explain that to that person. Shout out to Kevin Meegang that taught me well. You walk them all the way through, page by page, tab by tab. What you're signing. Your agent's going to do that anyway. But it's on the contract guy to walk through that with you. And I don't know if J.O. did or not, but yeah, you don't ask that question. Say, do I put my signature on? Like, at one point, it sounds funny. But after a while, you're like, bro, that ain't cool. Your agent shouldn't have let you go out there. And I guess if they're playing that card, that's solid. But you and I both looked at it as two black men, as a young man going out there signing a multi-million-dollar contract. You don't know where to put your signature or print or if it's your autograph or signature. If you haven't figured that out, thank God that if you hold on to that money for long, because that did not look like a highly intelligent conversation that was going on. And I know he's a super intelligent young man.
So the last thing I want to touch on before we get out of here tonight is, and Smoke, we've talked about this before, Brandon, you and I have been talking about this the last couple of years. Is the general manager position taking over college sports right now?
Yes. I think you look at, and it's all over, right? Alex Klein just got it at Syracuse. Big shout out to Buff, man. The TV reports. Our guy Kelly Buffington, who's done a great job on the basketball side down there at Texas Tech. Obviously, football is rampant. We talk about Courtney Morgan a lot, but there are a lot of people now that are in that spot or roles that will be filled here sooner than later. And I don't know how you don't, right? Like, I don't know how, if you're a college, especially if you got the budget to do it, whether it's Power 4 or elite level mid-majors, you have to have somebody controlling your big board, right? Like the general manager, there is a board and there are so many moving pieces. It's funny. I still, for those of you who don't know, I still have a club of my own at the youth level. And I tell our parents all the time, give these college coaches some grace. We're asking them to skill develop their own kids, retain their own kids, coach their own kids, meet with boosters, get NIL money, meet with sponsors. Then they got to go out and recruit new kids. Then they have to go out and build relationships with the grassroots people. You're asking them to do a lot of different stuff. You need someone whose sole responsibility is just to control the big board. Hey, I got Smoke Dixon up here, class of 2026 cornerback, 4-4, this is contact, here's who we need to call. Somebody needs to have that down, and not necessarily somebody can put that on the board, but someone who's connected to every person in Smoke's vertical integration line. The high school coach, the 707 coach, or the club coach, the parents. Oh man, I knew his dad back when I played. Like who has that? And that person doesn't need to be going out Monday through Friday coaching your current cornerbacks.
Mm-hmm.
Now, they might go to practice every day for a little bit, check in on the meetings that are happening, what you need and why you need it. But most of the time, if they're at practice, because there's a recruit on campus and they're spending time with that recruit, or they're on the phone, they're at practice, but they're off in the cut. Can't nobody hear them, but they're just omnipresent, right? Alex Anthopoulos from the Braves, who I think does a great job year in and year out of fielding a competitive team, he doesn't coach. He's not taking Ozzie Albies through hitting drills or fielding drills. He just runs the team. Mm-hmm. Every program in America in a sport that turns revenue should have that position. No brainer.
Mm. Hey, listen, you said it well. Well, listen, shout out to Michael Loxley and Smoke Dixon for having the vision of setting up a personnel office. And I'm gonna go on record and say I was probably one of the first general managers in college football. Fact check it if you want to. And that was through Coach Loxley and I just sitting down and understanding that once you start introducing money on a level playing field, you have to have somewhat of an equalizer to offset when you can't afford the best player. Mm-hmm. And that's going through properly assessing talent, stacking the talent, putting the talent in the right order to how you're going to recruit them. So not only did we come up with a job in the title in terms of a general manager, I constructed an entire personnel office at the University of Maryland. Separated the sides of college, which is the transfer portal, high school, which is your normal old school model of grassroots, 9th, 10th, sophomore year, junior year, senior year recruiting, and set up 3 different boards. The right now board, the year after board, and the far future board, to make sure that all that linked up. And when we went through readings, and I handled it just like my mentor Jim Monis and Doug Whaley showed me how to handle it, and we operated in such terms of what they're doing at Texas Tech, where the scouts or the young guys in the back, the interns, gave the information to the coaches. The coaches' solely job was to recruit, build relationship. But in terms of telling and giving the coaches direction on where they should go and the people that they should be in contact with came solely out of the personnel department. And I think once you do that, you exercise those skill sets and understand that most coaches aren't good talent evaluators. They're good in cultivating the talent and developing the talent, but they aren't truly good talent evaluators. You might have a handful of guys that can evaluate, cultivate it, and get it playing in the right direction. A handful. So turn that over to people that's that sole job, which are the scouts and evaluators and your general manager. But not only should you have a general manager, you should have a DPP on both sides, college and the college side and the high school side, a recruiting coordinator, a recruiting person that deals solely with strategy on both sides. Because when you separate those worlds, you'll truly get an efficient working machine. Because right now in the college system, you have too many players, and there are a couple of coaches that has to handle 200-something players. You can't get it done. You can't have a conversation with the grassroots coach, the trainer, the 7-on-7 coach, the mom, the uncle that's wearing you out night and day about how can I get this NIL. The high school coach that said, you don't need to come around no more, Reed. All you used to come around and chill with me all the time and go down to the Hooters and have drinks and wait. Like, we don't do that. Like, I can't do that when I have to recruit 3 classes ahead. They're offering 27s right now. Mm-hmm. And they're offering grassroots kids, like you just said, B. So when you have all of that, you have millions involved that's going into these player acquisitions. You can't whiff. Because if you whiff on a potential $5 million quarterback, just because you allowed the coach to evaluate it and the coach to say, this is the guy, just because Carl Reed is the head coach over there, Carl Reed told you that he's good, and Carl Reed gave you a quarterback 4 years ago, yeah, that was just the one-off that Carl had. There's people that have a particular skill set that we need to start utilizing them and pay general managers just like you're paying your offensive and defensive coordinators. They're worth millions because they can make you millions.
Absolutely.
That's how I would say. Separate it and get them right. And allow these young people to go on the road and recruit as well and keep the coaches off the road. And I think that'll work perfectly. And I think a lot of coaches will be happy with that.
B, do you think in women's basketball that we're gonna start seeing the general manager position?
Absolutely. Lindsay Gottlieb actually is the first one publicly, to kind of put the wheels in motion there before July got started. But again, if I'm a Power 4 coach on the women's side, men's side, basketball wise, I don't know, because of the roster size, that you're going to get into what Smoke is talking about with directors of personnel, things like that. I feel like one person can kind of handle the board on the basketball side because you've only got 13 to 15. But something as simple, and Smoke, I'm going to flip what you said. I loved it. Okay, don't go to Reed and take his word. Or you go to Reed and take his word. But you have to understand the difference, right? Like, it's me. I sent a post out the other day. I was screaming from the rooftop 6 to 12 months ago. Kate Harper is really, really good, y'all. She's really, really good. She's really, really good. I've been in the 23 summers. I know what really, really good looks like. I was on the floor with Maya Moore. I was on the floor with Kelly Davis, the Diamond Shields, and Lexi Brown. I was on the floor with Asia, now A.D. Durr. I was on the floor with Ted Cooper. I was on, there's a lineage there. So being able to understand and differentiate who actually does this from an evaluation standpoint and who doesn't, but you need someone who's not caught up having to go coach a position. All these things are very, very separate. And to your point, Smoke, when you get that re-up, everything's about that next contract extension, man. I'm spending whatever I need to spend if I'm in that position. Even if I had to spend my own money, it's worth the investment. But most of these people don't. It's allotted in a budget for them. They can go carve out a budget. They can maneuver item lines to get that done. And if you could find somebody that's really good at centering your board, and that's what I think the job of the GM is for me, is keeping your board centered. Okay, hey, y'all, we said we wanted a true cover ISO corner, Revis Island, if you will. Why are we spending on this inside linebacker? We're not going to have the money for this cornerback we said we needed. And that person is centered your board.
And again, B, that's a part of it, right? So your general manager is going to be over top of your cap guy. And if you want your general manager to do that, that's fine. Remove your coaches from it. The recruiting strategy person, your general manager over it. And it's tied in to now the coaches by the general manager. So the general manager is managing all departments. When I met every morning, I met with a recruiting strategy, our DPP, our high school relations person, and also our person that handled our pro liaison. Because when I went into our staff meeting, when I sat in front of Coach Locks, I had to give him direction on what my department was going to do. Just like when he sat and talked to Coach Enos, at that time was the offensive coordinator, Coach Enos gave him what the offense was going to do at practice that day.
Shout out to Dan Enos.
Shout out to Brian Williams. Be done. And that's what you need now in college sports, because you can't just say, yeah, well, I'm going to go up here to Piscataway and go recruit. But what's up there? If you're going up there just to recruit 5 kids and all 5 of them are asking for $1.5 million, you don't know that. I know that. Yeah, then we can't go up there because that's not within our budget. So we're wasting time going there. But here goes a handful of players that you need to go see. They know that you're coming. They know what the objective is. All I need you to do go right now is go up there and show face and start building a relationship and start recruiting them. That's it. You don't have to assess them. You can do a simple write-up for me, and all I needed from you is tell me, how are you going to develop them? How are you going to play with them? And how do they fit within our scheme moving forward? That's it. That's all coaches need to do. And get out the way.
Hey, well, listen to this. Shout out to Dan Enos. Dan Enos has been around a lot of places. He spent a lot of time in the state of Michigan. He's been at Arkansas, been at Bama. But he sent his daughter, who was a really good high school basketball player, to St. Louis University. Another St. Louis reference on the show tonight. All right. The guys who know. And B was modest earlier. He said he has a youth club team. He actually has one of the top summer basketball programs in the country. If you're a girl and you can really ball, you need to lock in with Brandon Clay. He's that guy on the women's side. He's
Southeast All-Stars. Hey, hold on, Carl Reed.
Mm-hmm.
Big shout out to a former legend in the game, a former pioneer in Mike White, who's come back with some rankings and clubs, put 3 of our teams inside the top 75, 17U. Saw Mike in Chicago, got a picture with him, sent him to Carl. Mike's the reason for a lot of his success. It's thankful to Mike White for this position on the show tonight. How about that?
Hey, Brandon, so Carl is throwing out Missouri. He gives shout outs to Missouri all the time. You stay in Atlanta, and that's all you want to talk about is Georgia. How come that? Do you guys understand that the best hoopers in the world are in the state of Maryland?
So true story, Smoke.
When y'all gonna go up there?
And I'm not name dropping. Listen, I'm not name dropping. I'm not trying to big time anybody, but Kevin Durant told me this. Kevin Durant told me out of his mouth that the best hoopers in the world come from Maryland. Now, I disagree with KD on this.
Well, you don't have to. That's fact. Go check. Just go check.
Listen,
just take them all out of the.
We're gonna get back into this Monday, right? We're gonna get back into this Monday, and I'm gonna tap in with KD. I know they in the Olympics. I'm gonna send him a message and see if I can get, if he's free enough to respond, so he can give you some supporting evidence.
Can I ask you one question before you jump off? This is the last one. The greatest basketball player in ACC history. B, who is he?
Rest his soul, Lynn Bias.
Oh. Well, he went to Northwest High School, Prince George's County.
Hey, shout out Tim Duncan, though, while we playing. That boy was tough to wait. Put the whole career together, too, respectfully.
Randolph Childress?
Yeah, it was a great. It was a great. Yeah.
Crossover commit. Yeah, we know where he's from too, but it's neither here nor there. Keep going.
Hey, listen, man. Next Monday we'll be back. B, tell everybody where they can find you at, man.
Hey, real quick on Smoke's topic, where you can find me at. A lot of my coverage is on 24/7 Sports. I just dropped a brand new evaluation on class of 2024 guard, which means she's an incoming freshman at the University of South Carolina, Maddie McDaniel, Forestville, Maryland. 2026, Autumn Fleary, Team Takeover, DMV. Hey,
shout out to Keith.
I'll really be outside. Keith Stevens, Ron James. Hey, everywhere I'm at, they know I'm
shout out to my dog, Keith
Yeah.
Stevens. Shout out to Keith Stevens.
Pump the brakes. Hit the brakes. I ain't gonna tell you nothing about Carl. You're gonna tell them where we're gonna be at on Wednesdays and Fridays. So I don't gotta tell them nothing about how this thing gets unfiltered. But here's the unfiltered truth. Y'all know that y'all talking about family. I just want to throw that Maryland out there, knowing that y'all gonna talk about Team Takeover. Man, that's family. That's blood.
Gotta respect it. Respect. They've done a great job.
Carl know that's blood. That's family. We go back in early
Victor Oladipo, DeMatha. Let's talk about it now.
Steve franchise.
Yes, sir.
Franchise like the Houston Rockets.
On that note, Reed.
Hey, we out of here. Listen, check me and Smoke. We got a big show on Wednesday. 24/7 Sports YouTube page, Unfiltered. We're gonna do a deep dive into this Michigan situation, a deep dive into it, and so Smoke is gonna say something wild. I think we got a guest coming on too.
Don't tell him
we ain't gonna say yet, but it's he got some animosity for you, Smoke. He got some stuff that he got to get off his chest.
Are we gonna be wiping tears though? Are we on the tears? Are we wiping tears?
I'm gonna do my best to stir the pot. That's what I do.
I'm gonna do my best not to cry.
I'm gonna do this roll the spot. And listen, if you look at my face on this stream right now, this is your brain. And when you look at smoke screen, that is your brain on drugs. We out for the night. All right, CoachReedLive show. Peace.